Welcome to week one. Thank you all for joining us here this morning for the EKU football press conference, week one versus Mississippi State. We will open with coaches' opening remarks, and then we'll open the floor up to questions, and then we will have Ryan Jackson and Matt Morrissey available for questions once coach is done. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Coach.
All right, guys, appreciate y'all being here. Welcome to the 2024 football season, I guess, right? Of course, y'all got welcomed yesterday or some of you did at UK's deal. But anyway, glad you're here. Appreciate it. Looking forward to this season. Obviously, a challenging test the first couple of weeks of the season, and the first week against Mississippi State. Really good football team. Coach Levy's done a great job there. He's done a great job as a coordinator everywhere he's been. Explosive offense with very high tempo, so we know what we're getting into. Coleman Hustler is their defensive coordinator, who's been around a bunch of guys that I know and ran throughout the SEC as a defensive coach and a special teams coach. So I know he's going to have his defense ready to go, and they'll be solid on special teams. Always a very athletic team when we played them in the past, or when I've been a part of a staff that has played them in the past. And an incredible atmosphere with the cowbells and all the good stuff going on down in Starkville. So looking forward to getting on the plane on Friday and flying down, and excited about the opportunity with this 2024 Colonel football team. With that, I'll open it up for any questions, and we'll go from there.
All right, Michael Watkins, if you want to start for us.
Talk about, for you, what excites you about this team with the portal and kind of where we are now with the age of college football that we're in, the era of college football that we're in. It's kind of a new wave of things that takes place. So for you, what's exciting about this team in particular?
Well, I just like the way they've handled themselves. Haven't had a lot of issues out of this team. They just seem to really bond together and like each other. I don't hear a lot of complaining, a lot of griping, a lot of different things that you hear with some teams in the past. And I think, with us being into year 5 now, the culture's starting to be set. And I think they understand what the culture that we have here, what we want here, and how we want to do things here at EKU. And so with that being said, those guys have bought into that, probably been a part of that for most of their career. I mean, you look at a guy like Darian Baker from Mercer County, and Ryan Jackson from over in Nashville or Lebanon, Tennessee area, Peyton Collins, John Stone. I mean, those guys have been with us for going into 5 years. And those are just some guys, it's interesting to watch them grow and develop, and, you build a relationship with these people. And so for that part of it, I think it's really cool to see them, getting their masters or getting their whatever they're doing, getting the accolades that they're getting, having the opportunities potentially that they'll have. And I think that's just really neat, and it's fun to watch as a coach.
All right, Cameron, I saw your hand raised first, so we'll go to you then.
Hey there, Walt. Appreciate the time as always. I know you guys have gone with the decision to go with Matt, who's on the call with us today as the starting quarterback for this week's game. Can you just speak a bit as to what he showed you and the other coaches throughout camp to earn him this opportunity, and the way you envision him slotting into a new look offense this season for you guys?
Well, I mean, I think Matt showed some consistency throughout spring, summer, and fall camp, and in the ability to throw the football and the ability to make the reads and get the ball to where it needs to go. We've had a kind of rolling door of receivers right now and tight ends, for him to throw to because of cramping or whatever, that's been going on in camp. Nobody's permanently out, but, it's just been something that he hasn't been able to develop. Neither did Cam. I mean, to either one of them. And it was a hard fought battle between both of them. And I think both of those young men will tell you, that each of them got better because of the battle. And, in the end, we just felt like Matt gave us the greatest opportunity to throw the football, move the football, and score touchdowns. And so we wanted to settle in on that, give them a week before this week to run the offense and be out in front. I think it speaks volumes that in a player voted only captain's vote that he was voted a captain. And so I think, he's earned the respect of his teammates and his peers. So really excited to watch him work. Love Cam Herget. Think he's got a bright, bright future. And will play a lot of football games and win a lot of football games here too.
And just as a quick follow-up on that, you mentioned some of the guys at the beginning who have been here for 4 or 5 years now, but for a guy like Matt, who was at Western Illinois last year and a couple stops before that, to come in, not only impress on the field, but as you mentioned, be voted by his peers as a captain for this year's squad. What does that say about him, both as a player and as someone who could quickly assimilate to the group, and have those kind of leadership qualities that you guys were looking for?
Well, I think it speaks volumes about the type of person he is. I mean, he came in and not only did he fit in, but he also demanded some respect and demanded some, leadership in that room. And so I think but he did it the right way. I mean, you can come in and talk all you want to talk until you do it here. Nobody really cares. And so he got in and got involved with them and got to know them and became part of them and got together with throwing in the summer and did some different things that I think just developed a trust in them and continue to move that way. And I think it speaks volumes that that's the way it is. Now, for us, it was hard to keep a quarterback around here that wasn't Parker, and they knew what was going on with Parker. So some of the ones we brought in ended up, deciding that they needed to go somewhere else to play. And so Cam came in and stuck it out and stuck with us and has done a great job. And so that made us go out and have to create competition. And that's the one thing the portal does, is it allows you to do that. And so we've lost guys out of the portal that have gone places and done well, and we've brought guys in that have done well. So I think it speaks volumes to the person he is.
All right, Forrest, if you want to ask your questions.
Hey, Walt, hope you're doing well, man.
Doing great.
Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate you, Coach. What's it going to take for y'all to be competitive in the UAC this season? And what have you, if any, spoken to Kyle Motes about how this season plays into a larger role of where this program wants to go in the future?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. Me and Kyle, we've talked multiple times, but we haven't talked about the future of the program and where it's going as far as, FCS and FBS and conference and all those things. I think some of that is going to take place with conference realignment and how that all continues to unfold as we move forward. I think we'll see the power conference here in the next quicker than everybody thinks. And I think when that settles in, who's going to be in that and where everybody falls and and the qualifications and the ramifications of that, we'll figure all that out. I know, Kyle wants EKU football to be great, and he wants us to be good, and he wants us to compete as high as we can compete. So that's my understanding. As far as to be competitive in the UAC, I think we've always been competitive. 2 years ago we went to the playoffs, got the automatic bid, and then last year we were 5 and 6 overall, but we ended up second in the conference. So. And every game came down to a walk-off, either win or loss, just about. So, I think the competitive piece has got to stay there. And we've got to be consistent in our performance. Our young men have got to come out and play. I mean, I think we all know everything drives through on offense through a quarterback, and our quarterback's got it. Matt's got to come out and be consistent and make the plays. He doesn't have to be Parker McKinney. He has to be Matt Morrissey. And, I don't know if I brought Parker's name up to him at all about, how he should be, because, Parker is Parker and Matt's Matt. And, Matt may do some things better than Parker. I mean, we'll find out, right? And so that part of it is going to help us. I think our defense has to play better. I think it's obvious from last year. And I think they've heard enough of that and they understand that, first 2 games are going to be a challenge. But we've got to go out and compete and play good football. And it's like I tell our team, college football is a tough sport. If we make it to the fourth quarter and we got a chance to win the game, that's all we can ask for. And then we got to learn to go take those wins. And we have before, and we didn't do it as much as we needed to last year. We got to go back to finishing the games and winning the games.
All right, Michael Epps.
Hey, Walt, how you doing? Hope you had a good summer.
Great. How about you?
Good. It's been good. I'm excited for football to be back. I know this game obviously is going to be a tough one, but you're out there, trying to win every game, and you're out there obviously trying to win this game. You guys played well against Kentucky and almost stole that game last year. So what do you tell the guys knowing, hey, SEC team, it's going to be extremely difficult out there. You're facing guys that, might be bigger, faster, stronger than you, but, it's all heart and just go out there, try to win the game. What do you tell them?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing we try to say is, hey, guys, you played against these guys in high school. I mean, you've played against guys that were, FBS, Power 5, SEC recruits before. How'd you play against them? I mean, because it comes down to one-on-one battles. It comes down to you being consistent in what you do. I mean, one of our core values is toughness. What does it take to break you? And, your mind will let you do a lot of things if you'll continue to believe. And, you're going to get out there. It's going to be 90-something degrees. It's going to be almost 70% humidity. 3 o'clock's when we arrive at the stadium. 5 o'clock's when we kick it off at their time, 4 and 6 our time. And, how you going to handle that? There's some things that we're going to look at preparing differently to help. But, when it comes down to it, you got to go fight. And you got to finish the fight. And, that's what happened when we played Kentucky last year. And, I've said it to them 100 times. Cincinnati the week before, we didn't do that. Kentucky, we did that. And it gave us an opportunity. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, these opportunities are hard. We know all the problems going in. And we know everybody's going to tell you all the problems going in. And if you believe those problems, then you're going to get the results that they want. But if you believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, believe in what we're trying to preach, and you go out there and fight, you give yourself an opportunity. If you get them into the fourth quarter, then you try to drown them. And you get them in the deep end of the pool. And that's what we talk about. But we talk about that against Austin Peay. We talk about that against, Central Arkansas. When you get in the fourth quarter, you get them into the deep end of the pool, you got to ground them. And that's what we're going to try to do.
All right. Next will be Brian Millham of WKYT.
I'd like to see the size of the water wings you put on the offensive linemen if you get to the deep end of the pool.
Well, they float.
What is the one group on the team, at least in preseason, that has maybe made the most strides or been the most surprising to you?
That's a great question. Probably the most strides has been our inside linebacker room. And we lost Kylan Robinson for the season, who was going to be a starter for us. And so we've got some young guys there that are talented, and they're going to make mistakes. I get that. They're going to have issues, all that stuff, because they haven't played a whole lot. But they just keep coming every day. Kyle Kelly is a senior, and the rest of them are either redshirt or true sophomores or redshirt freshmen or freshmen. And, Kyle's done a great job of leading that room. And I think what happened is when they saw Kylan go down, they all kind of rallied together and said, hey, we got to make up for his departure. So I think they're the ones that may have made the greatest strides. I think our best room is probably our running back room. I mean, we've got some depth in that room. Of course, we lost a great player into the portal, but I think with the addition of the players we brought in, Jalen Montgomery, Brady Hensley, and then the guys that were here, Braden Latham and Kelly McAllister, along with Josh Carter, who's our starter, I think that room's got some depth and some experience in it.
All right, next is going to be Johnson.
Yeah, Coach Stu Johnson, WEKU. How would you evaluate the NIL landscape right now? And these sports guys are going to know a lot more than me, but I mean, how much advantage does that give to FBS schools?
Well, I mean, I think, the advantage from FBS to FCS is NIL is, the scholarship difference. I mean, they've got 85, we've got 63. They spend in probably one quarter of what we spend in a whole year. And so I think that part of it is always an advantage for the FBS programs. But I think you're seeing these FBS budgets are getting crazy. I think that's why they're trying to figure it all out to calm it down a little bit. But just an article came out yesterday. Don't know if it's true, so I'm not sitting here saying that. But you're hoping it somewhere in there is close to the truth. That Ohio State's budget was, our payroll was 20 million for the play. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's hard for, you look at Caleb Downs, a kid that was at Alabama, starting at Alabama, and now he goes over there and, all SEC, and he's there. And I mean, it keeps providing great players to great programs. And, I'm all for these players getting paid. I think enough people make enough money off of them that they deserve to be paid. The things that got to get figured out is we're out here in the Wild Wild West. And there's NFL's got contracts, they've got rules, they've got all these things, and there's no rules right now for us. There's absolutely none. And it's I saw the Miami of Ohio guy griping about his kicker being gone, and he can't afford to keep his kicker, and he can't. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way, and that's FBS to FBS. So it goes back to the haves and the have-nots, what they got away from in the 60s and 70s. And we're, as history, as most people know, history repeats itself, and it's repeating itself right now.
Thanks.
All right, going back to Michael Watkins. Michael?
When you go back to the scrimmages, was there anybody that stood out to you that, maybe earned some playing time, or maybe earned a little bit more playing time because of what you saw from the scrimmage?
I think one kid that showed up is Marquez Calwaz, and one of our freshman wide receivers. Because of all the different rotation we had at wide receiver, he was a consistent player in there. He missed some time too, but he came back, showed some toughness, some consistency, and the ability to make some plays. So I was pleased with Marcus and what he's done at the receiver. Sam Robertson, our safety, really, he didn't get to play a lot in the spring because he had an injury, a hamstring, and he's really come on and done a nice job as a safety. He's a junior college transfer that has really come in here and done some good things for us. I love to see the development of Vito Tisdale. Vito hadn't played in 2 years. He really hadn't. And he was injured at Kentucky, and then he didn't play much at Colorado. We have him at corner. And, for him to come in, not be in spring ball and play and continue to develop, he really came on and developed and did some nice things. So, there's more than that. I don't want to leave anybody out. But as we continue to go through it, the development of Vince Munlin from left guard to right tackle, that's hard to do. He came in as a tackle, so he played tackle. And then he was one of our best 5, and the best place we could put him, because we had Josiah at right and Peyton at left, was to put him at guard so he could get on the field. And he played 2 years at guard. Now he's playing right tackle, and he's developed nicely as we move forward. And so, he's still got room to improvement, just like they all do. But, I like where we're headed.
All right, Cameron?
Yeah, well, kind of at the beginning there, you referenced, the cowbells and kind of the unique environment that Mississippi State has going on down there in Starkville. So I'm just curious, is there anything you can do in practice, or what maybe have you done, intend to do this week to kind of simulate just the crowd, that distinct noise, especially with the new signal caller back there to help communication on both sides of the ball, really?
Right. Well, we started on them last week. We've got a nice sound system that we play music, because we're hip here. And so we play music at practice. So I was fortunate enough to call up to Christian, the video guy over at UK, and say, hey man, send us some cowbells that y'all used to use, because when I was there, of course, we played them every year. And so they sent the cowbell music. And so we've got that blaring from our video tower, and then and that's the field that we do most of our teamwork on. And so we do it in every team or 7-on-7 session, and punt session, special team session. And then we also have a speaker that we put right behind the quarterback. And literally it's 5 yards behind the quarterback. It moves with the hash as the hash moves, and just blares cowbells ringing and peep fan noise. And so, first couple of days it was good for our guys to hear, because, things change when you go into these environments for us, because our environments that we play in aren't that bad and are loud, I should say. And so, for us, the first couple of days we had to get used to it. But, now we're, smoothed out in practice, and hopefully today when we get back out there and do it, it'll be a continue to be a smoother transition. It's a concentration thing. You have to hear it. You have to be aware of it. It's one of my points of emphasis for this week is, we have to handle that adversity from the noise.
And lastly, from me, you referenced some of the new faces on the coaching staff at Mississippi State earlier as well. So when you're trying to scout for them this week, there's obviously not a whole lot of turnover, within the program there in Starkville. So are you looking at stuff that Coach Levy did in Oklahoma? Are you looking at last year's Mississippi State team? How do you, I guess, kind of go about the scouting process when there's so much newness?
Well, they had so much turnover in their personnel that last year you went back in the summer and you watched the personnel and did some cut up tapes for the guys. But we looked at Ole Miss tape, we looked at Oklahoma tape on Coach Levy because we know he's going to call the plays. So we know what they're running. I mean, we don't know what they're running, but we, have an appreciation of what he does offensively, which is, top 10 in the nation every year. So we figured, he's going to keep doing what he's been doing. And then defensively, with Coleman being new, we kind of went back to his days as an assistant at Texas. And then obviously last year with Coach Saban at Alabama. And just went through what they do. Very similar to what we do on defense. Same but different, so to speak. But, they're in an odd front, and then they're a mid front, and then they get into their even fronts and do a lot of things from even fronts. Coverages are match coverage, big match coverage guy, which is basically zone man. And so we do all those things. Special teams will be the one that's, kind of an anomaly because you don't know, you don't know who's going to be back there returning punts for them and different things like that. So until you get your depth charts and you figure all that.
All right, Brian, you said you have one more question for Coach.
Yeah, just one quick one. For a guy like you who's been around a long time, what kind of emotions and the excitement do you get for an opening day, especially in a place that is an SEC facility that's going to be packed out, and just what is it like to have an opening day run with your team out of that tunnel?
I think it's special. I mean, it's like I tell my wife, when I don't get goosebumps starting in game week, I'm gonna go be a Walmart greeter and or something like that. I'm done with this stuff because that's what you really do it for. I mean, you do it for the relationships, you do it for all that. I mean, it's so fun to watch the kids, the players get the opportunity to play in an atmosphere like that. Everybody deserves that chance. Everybody deserves that opportunity to see that. Is it a challenge? Yes, it's a challenge. But I mean, life's a challenge. I mean, you're going to go through greater things than going out there and playing Mississippi State. And so go out there and enjoy it, play your butt off, do what you're supposed to do, and understand that, my hope for them is that they understand that they're just as good if they prepare better than them. Sure, they may be a little bigger sometimes. They may be a little, overall, that may be true. But if you look at our rosters, the sizes are going to be the same. They've got some guys on the Senior Bowl watch list. So blah, 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 blah. Now you got to go out there and put the football down and go do it. And don't get me wrong. I've got tons of respect for who Mississippi State is, what Coach Levy's going to do there, what their whole staff is going to do there. But in the same breath, guys, we can't respect them so much that we fear them. Can't fear. Don't fear that man. Just go out there and play the game and enjoy the game like you have your whole life. And, opening day is special because everybody's 0-0. Everybody's got tons of brightness and think, hey, we're going to be conference champs, national champs, all this kind of stuff. And whatever happens, happens. And you go through it and you fight all that adversity together. And I just think, being a part of a team is something I've done for a long, long time now. And then, you said being an older guy, it hurt my feelings a little bit, but you're true. I mean, I looked at something the other day and I thought, I'm getting old, man. And, I'm just 56. But, a lot of people think that's middle age, but it's not, 30 something's middle age probably in reality. And so, I enjoy being at EKU. I enjoy representing what EKU represents. And I hope our players do. And I enjoy just being with him and hearing some of the naiveness they have, but also some of the confidence that they have, and it puts confidence in me.
All right. All right. Without seeing any more questions for Coach, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. And now we'll have quarterback Matt Morrissey join us for some questions.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Let's see. Matt, if you can, there we go. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, we'll start things off same rotation as we did before. Michael, if you're still with us, if you have any questions for Michael, and then from there, if everybody can just use the raised hand function or type in the chat, and we'll get questions rolling for Matt.
Well, Matt, first of all, we talked a little bit last night about this, but just talk about the honor of being named the quarterback at EKU, and just how you feel as you get ready for this game week one, and kind of what the preparations look like on your side of things.
Yeah, kind of like I said yesterday, definitely an honor and a blessing to be a captain here. I'll kind of say it again, the guys here made it easy for me when I came in. They welcomed me with open arms and, made me feel comfortable around those guys. So I was able to bond with them instantly. And then, just being voted captain just makes me so excited to go out there and play with them every single week and, give those guys my all. And then, just getting ready for this week, it's a big game, first time to play in front of show the Colonel fans and play for the Colonel fans and, play with this team. So I'm really excited, going to Mississippi State. They're going to be a good team with, a lot of good players. But, the atmosphere, the stadium, the environment, those are the games you dream of growing up. Like when you're going to bed as a little kid, you want to play in front of, 70,000 sold out. So just really excited and, blessed for the opportunity.
All right. Up next is Michael Epps.
Hey, Matt, congrats on getting the starting job. And Walt said he hasn't really talked to you about Parker much, but Parker McKinney's obviously a legend in this program, and he's been the starting quarterback for a long time. So is it kind of exciting that you're kind of ushering in a new era and also doing it in, a massive atmosphere down there at a SEC road game?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like Coach said, he hasn't really mentioned them too much when I was here. When I came on my visit, he's like, if you're going to come here, just, worry about being you and, be the best Matt that you can be. I mean, obviously, seeing Parker's success, that was a big reason why I was interested in coming here because I seen how successful and, how good of a player he was. And I was hoping, obviously hoping to have that same sort of success. But, like Coach says, I just got to be the best version of myself.
All right, Cameron.
Hey there, Matt. Appreciate the time, and obviously I know you've had some previous college stops, and nothing's really called the same or defined with the same terminology from one place to the other. So can you kind of just talk about what this process was like of learning the playbook here at EKU, implementing it in practice, and also doing well enough both on the field and in the locker room to earn the starting quarterback job?
Yeah, learning the playbook and stuff, it took a lot of work. I feel like you just got to rep the plays. I'll give a lot of credit to Coach Smith. He was willing to meet with me whenever I needed, and he was always there for me when I needed to meet. And he did a great job getting me comfortable with the system and learning all the plays, and then just going out there with the guys in the summer repping plays and spring ball, summer, and that fall camp. So I feel like I'm comfortable now and excited.
All right, Forrest.
Hey, Matt, I know it's been a while since we talked in spring ball and you're just getting your feet wet then, but as you look back across the many months that you've been in Richmond, how has it been learning this offense? Coach said that, if you think about it, that was part of it. You had a lot of changeover with your tight ends, your receivers. So if that played into it, I want to hear about that as well in your response.
Yeah, I think having a lot of changeover with the tight ends and receivers, I think it also, gave us an opportunity to create more depth as the offense because, now, guys who might not have got their shot, and they showed that they can play. So now we know, we have more depth in, both rooms. And then, yeah, just the difference from spring to fall, I feel like I got a lot more comfortable in the offense just with the more repetition and, the more throws of those guys. So I feel like, yeah, it's definitely more comfortable from spring. And, yeah, I'm excited. And, yeah.
Who's your favorite target if you have one, if you can single a guy out?
Man, I've been telling everyone I like all of them because, like Coach said, it was kind of a big turnout with all the receivers and tight ends going, like some going down, some coming out. And I've kind of said this in the past too. You just, every day a different receiver stepped up, different tight ends stepped up. So, just whoever's out there, I'm ready to, go play with them, and I know they'll make plays for me.
All right, Cameron, I see you have another question for Matt.
Yeah, just one more for me. Matt, I was asking Coach Wells about this just a minute ago, but obviously there's a pretty unique road environment at Mississippi State with the cowbells, 50,000 people, a lot of noise, and communication will be obviously important on Saturday. So what's that process been like throughout last week and this week as well of, kind of making sure everyone's on the same page and maybe getting acclimated to that speaker that's 5 yards behind you, during practice with all the noise blaring?
Yeah, I think having the speakers and everything, the distractions at practice, I think is ultimately going to help us. We've been stressing communication and how key that's going to be this week. So, when you hear the speakers, 5 yards behind you, I got to go and make sure I'm loud and make sure, I'm getting the O-line, the protection calls from the O-line, and, the receivers are getting the signals and the plays, and, I'm making sure my cadence is loud enough. So, yeah, I think having the speakers at practice is definitely going to pay off when we get to the game.
All right, any more questions for Matt? Going once, twice. All right, Matt, thank you for joining us. Up next, we're going to have defensive lineman Ryan Jackson. All right, Ryan, thanks for joining us today. Michael, I'll let you continue with the first questions, and then we'll roll from there.
Been here before, but seems a little different for you now, being kind of the veteran leader on this team. So kind of touch on that, and as far as that goes, how do you feel going into week one?
Yeah, I remember having a question like that before, going from the young guy to the old guy, kind of fast transition, but at least I got another year of it under my belt. It feels good being the older guy. I wish I had the older guys for, if that makes sense. Being able to inspire groups and being able to be there for them, that way they can see something, like see that this is a goal that maybe we could achieve one day. And I hope they want to be better than me, honestly. But just to be able to be a leader or like a top guy on the team to where people will look up to you and be like, man, I could do that. It's pretty cool to me.
About your relationship with some of the other guys that have been around for a while, like Coach said, you, Peyton, I know Mike came in a couple years in, but Patrick, there's a lot of guys that you all have kind of come through all of this with. So talk about that and how your all's relationship has kind of molded coming through all those things together.
Sheesh. Me and a bunch of the guys came in 2020, and I'll say it took all 4 to 5 years, but I finally understand what people say, like when a college turns into a family and a brotherhood far after this. These are guys I truly feel are like my close bonded friends and people I can call and contact at any time. We've been through a lot. We've been through the ups, the downs, like Coach Wells said earlier. We've seen it all. We've seen victory, we've seen loss, we've seen turmoil, we've seen how everything can go well in a season, how everything can go bad. But I think it's awesome to talk about the guys. I can still name every single one from our class, but the guys that are still here, to know that we pushed through all of it and this is our last one and we want to go out with a bang and we want to do all the stuff that we said we wanted to do as freshmen and it's finally our time. It's a special feeling, and it's a special feeling knowing like those guys have been through the wars with me the whole time. So yeah, I would say this is a good experience to where I know I'll call some of these guys afterwards.
All right, Michael Epps.
Hey Ryan, how's it going?
Doing all right.
Good, man. So you heard, Walt's portion. I asked Walt about, playing a big game like this against the SEC team. You're obviously no stranger to the, FCS, playing a big FBS team, and you guys gave UK a really good game last year. So what's your guys' mentality of knowing that, that's a tough team, but if you guys go out there and do your jobs and play the game of your life, you can pull off that upset. Anybody can.
Yeah, I'll say what a lot of people have said about our team is that we sound confident, and the way we answer questions, the way people talk around this place is a lot different than how we talked last year. But one thing I always say about the big games is don't let the moment happen. Like go be a part of the moment. Don't just be in awe of the cowbells or be in awe of like the big stadium. You're playing in front of all these people, and it's just a game. And go be a part of the moment. Go make history in the moment instead of just being like, let's just enjoy that we came here. We're gonna play a big team, gonna play a big game. No, let's go out and do something. Go make a big play. Go make something memorable. Like when Cornelius blocked his punt at UK, that was the biggest moment of his whole season, and like that's something we can all talk about and remember.
Yeah, Ryan, and you've talked about, the camaraderie that's within this group, and you guys have a lot of guys returning on this defensive side of the ball that saw considerable playing time both last year and for some guys the year before. You've talked about the growth, but what does that do for you guys in terms of having that connection and that familiarity with everybody's games and that brotherhood when you guys step out on the field as a defensive unit?
I know for me specifically, playing alongside Jeremiah and D-Bake and Marv and Gabe again is a blessing because I am comfortable with how they play, but this is probably still one of the most turnover our defense has seen in a long time with all the new people we added to the secondary, the injuries that's plagued us, unfortunately. But I don't know, playing with guys that you know and guys that you're comfortable with, you know exactly what type of energy they bring. You know exactly how to motivate some guys like that. And it's good to have experience, and it's good to have quality experience of quality guys you care about and that you want to play with because the energy is just that much more exciting.
All right. Without seeing any more questions in the chat or anything, Ryan, thank you for joining us. Media members, thank you for joining us here for the Week 1 Zoom press conference for EKU football. And you guys should be on the lookout for game notes that we'll be sending out this afternoon. Thank you.